What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. This week's video is brought to you by Raycon Earbuds, and we'll hear more from them later on.
Our first question comes from Joshua Black, who asks if we'll get a face reveal from The Mandalorian.
I think we will.
Like, ever? Yeah, I think so.
I guess I think it'll happen this season.
Yeah. I mean, why would you cast someone as gorgeous as Pedro Pascal and not show his face?
I mean, I agree, frankly. Like, if you're going to be in the starring role, I think that eventually he's like, yeah, I want my face to be in it. Otherwise, why cast anyone at all? Like, it could have been anyone's voice. It's modulated and everything. I think what's going to happen is that he's going to take it off near the end of the season, maybe in the season finale, and that's going to be like a character moment for him. I think in season 2 and beyond, he's going to have the helmet off a lot more often, and it'll be kind of like, okay, I'm putting it on when I go into battle or something. Mm-hmm. But right now it's like...
Or during negotiations, because it's like...
It's like wearing
the
sunglasses.
Ultimate poker face.
Right, yeah. Anytime he's playing Sabacc, he'll keep the helmet on. But it's kind of like Kylo Ren, I think, in that the helmet right now is a big part of his identity, and he's hiding behind it almost, where he's like, this is what makes me a Mandalorian. And throughout the show, I think he'll come to realize, like, oh, I don't need the armor to be a Mandalorian, to be a good person. Like, I'm what makes the armor and not the other way around.
Matthew Gam wants to know who our favorite Inquisitors are and why.
You start.
Well, are we talking about Fallen Order spoiler stuff?
We can talk vaguely about the second sister without revealing anything.
Okay. Originally, I was going to say the seventh sister.
That's what I thought you were going to say without a doubt. That's why I said you go first. I didn't think there'd be any hesitation. I didn't ever imagine you would betray Sarah Michelle Gellar like this.
Well, my only reason is because it's voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar, and she's like...
Everything?
She's everything to me. But I don't know. I haven't really gotten a chance to play through the entire story of Fallen Order, but from what I've seen... The second sister is pretty dope.
Yeah, I basically took her through some of the major cutscenes so she'd know what was going on. But yeah, the second sister is far and away the best Inquisitor. Outside of maybe the Grand Inquisitor, she has the most character.
Yeah, she's got a great story.
I think even more so than the Grand Inquisitor. Yeah, the reveal of who she is, it's not Barisafi. She has the most rich story and the most relatable as well. Like, even the ninth sister in the game is pretty much just like, I'm bad and I like it. And
I'm bad and I'm here to shit up.
Man. And the second sister is not quite like that. And I really appreciated it. But yeah, the second sister is easily my favorite Inquisitor.
Flash Turtle asks if Star Wars should try a WhatIf series like Marvel's doing. So explain to me what Marvel is doing.
So on Disney Plus, they're doing an animated show that's like, I can't think of any of the scenarios, but what if this happened instead of this in the movies? And they kind of take one thing and change it and then explore the universe and how that would have rippled out into the rest of the MCU. I don't think I see Star Wars doing that. I think it would be really fun. They did comics like that back in the Legends days, and they were fun. I think that Lucasfilm is being a lot more protective of the canon right now, that I don't see them doing it. But maybe after they've been around for as long as the MCU and people are a little more familiar with what has and hasn't happened, the more mainstream audience, then maybe they could explore it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them doing something like this, but in my mind, that would be like a re-envisioning of Legends itself. Like, if they were going to make a new Legends, a new Star Wars Legends, they could make it like a WhatIf series, but I don't think they would do it. It's just more fuel for the fire. I don't know.
Kind of.
People would either love it or hate it, and the people who hated it would really hate it.
Or we'd get people going like, oh, this is what they should have done.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought experiment, and I'm not opposed to it because I don't get angry about stuff like that. But I don't see it happening either.
I mean, we're already seeing people say that The Mandalorian is better than anything Disney's done so far with the films. And if we got a WhatIf series, we would probably hear a lot more of that.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think right now, I've been thinking that Fallen Order might be my favorite Star Wars thing in the Disney era. It took my breath away. Like, I really, really love it. It's at least my favorite thing since The Force Awakens. So I have no problem with people being like, yes, The Mandalorian is what I wanted. So.
Mm-hmm. James Petrie wants to know if Poe and Finn could be an item in The Rise of Skywalker, and if they are, will it be shown in the movie or revealed in a book or something afterwards?
So I love Finn and Poe. I love their friendship. I would be surprised and thrilled if they showed it to be something more in Episode 9. I'm skeptical that Disney will do it, which sucks, but Rebecca Roanhorse's Resistance Reborn really made me think that, okay, it could happen. She seemed to hint at it a lot. So at the very least, I think Rebecca Roanhorse ships Finn and Poe.
Yeah, I think in the book, Finn and Poe have a moment where Poe is asking Finn about, like, you and Ray, you and Rose, and he's like, nah. And Poe's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Cool.
And then later they have like a moment where he's tying his tie, and like another person who barely knows them is like, oh, I just assumed you and Finn would be going on this mission together. Like there are a lot of little things where they're kind of dancing around it, but I don't know if they're actually going to show it in the movie. And I think it would be a shame if after the fact they did a book where the two of them are a couple.
Yeah.
Because that feels like J.K. Rowling and Dumbledore and like dropping all these weird tidbits about the Harry Potter universe after the fact, when it's like, why didn't this play into the books in the first place? Why are you saying it now? It feels ingenuous. Is that a word?
Do you think it would be...
Not genuine? Disingenuous. I got there.
Do you think it would be better if they did address it later on in a book, or didn't address it at all?
I don't know. I guess something's better than nothing, but it feels more important. In matters of representation, like, it's a bigger deal to have this happen on the big screen where most people see it. Mm-hmm. I think that everyone deserves to be able to see themselves in a Star Wars character, and I think that this would be a good step in that direction.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Disney will do this on the big screen. If they were going to do it, I think they would have set something up way earlier. It seems like a big thing to throw in to Episode 9. But yeah, I mean, I ship them personally. I'm not getting my hopes up, and I hope that everyone else isn't getting their hopes up too high for any particular ships that may or may not happen, because we don't know.
Yeah. My fingers are crossed. I hope it happens. I don't think it will. But I ship their friendship, and I will ship them romantically if that is the case.
Zach Stash asks what we think of carbon freezing being more widely used in Star Wars outside of The Empire Strikes Back. This is something that we talked about, I think, in our Mandalorian commentary.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think that, and I have seen a couple people just talk about this, where everyone seemed like unsure if Han Solo would survive in The Empire Strikes Back. And then in the Clone Wars, we see Anakin and the clones use it. And of course, in The Mandalorian, he's got like his little mobile unit. And I think the line to go back to is Darth Vader says that this facility is crude, but it should work. And so I think that probably what was on Cloud City was just outdated. And they were more like, okay, we've never tested this facility on humans. We know that carbon freezing can be fine, but it might not be here. And so, yeah, it does kind of give off this impression that This was the first time we ever tried it, and then Clone Wars negated that. So now I think that it looks like carbon freezing technology has come a long way, and now it's like they're in these mobile boxes, and you just shove someone in them and hit a button, and they freeze.
That's definitely just one of those things that I think after word got out that that's a thing that you can do with people, bounty hunters were like, yes, sign me up.
Yeah. I could see the guild being like, oh, that's perfect. And then they just went in and did some testing. And I mean, a lot of the bounties, doesn't matter if they're dead or alive. So who cares if it kills them?
That's true.
Like I said before, today's Q&A is brought to you by Raycon, who's offering all of our viewers a discount on their wireless earbuds that you can get at buyraycon.com/Star Wars Explained. Their earbuds sound just as good as other premium audio brands, but start at about half the price. They sent me the E25 model to try out, and they do sound really great. Connecting with Bluetooth is easy, and I haven't had any connection issues. Molly likes to watch TV in bed while I read, so I put on music so I can focus on my book, or I've been using them to listen to podcasts while I walk Hilo. They come with a really cool charger that doubles as a carrying case, they can adjust to fit any size of ear, and they come in a lot of different colors. They have amazing sound at a great price. Visit buyraycon.com/Star Wars Explained or click on the link in the description of our video to give you access to Raycon's Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, which makes them even more affordable.
On to YouTube questions. Sarah Mack asks if we think The Mandalorian will ever get the darksaber during the show.
I hope so, and I don't. I want Bo-Katan to be in the show very badly. I want Katie Sackhoff to play Bo-Katan.
I was going to say that. I want to see the darksaber in the show in her hands.
Yeah.
I don't care if the Mandalorian gets to play with it or not. I just want her in the show with the darksaber.
I want the darksaber in it, and I want it to be with Bo-Katan. The only way I would see it passing to the Mandalorian is if she were to die, which could happen, but I don't want it to happen. So I'm like, I have mixed feelings on it, and it would still be cool. Like, I think we're going to grow to love this character more and more and more. And if eventually he becomes the leader of Mandalore somehow, that's a cool story. Maybe Bo-Katan's ready to just kick back and retire on what's left of Scarif. Somewhere with a beach.
Yeah.
Glean Selm, that's probably better. But I do think, with Dave Filoni being so heavily involved, I think it's going to happen. I think the darksaber is going to show up at some point. Maybe not in season 1, but as the world gets bigger, the world of the show, I think it has a very good chance of showing up.
Do you think the Mandalorian will see it and be like, where do I get one of those?
Go get Tar Vizsla to make you one 1,000 years ago.
Yeah. S2at22 wants to know if Cobb Vanth from the Aftermath books could show up in The Mandalorian wearing Boba Fett's armor. Or a lot of people think we've already seen Boba Fett. No,
they don't. There's one person put that in an article, and Boba Fett's not in the show. I'm not losing this bet. So the last we've seen of anything from Boba Fett was in the Aftermath books. Some Jawas pulled some Mandalorian armor out of the Pit of Carkoon. It's never explicitly said this is Boba Fett's armor, but it totally is. And so, like, a sheriff named Cobb Vanth takes the armor and then uses it to kind of keep the peace on Tatooine. So if the armor were to show up, it would be kind of like, yeah, it's more likely Cobb Vanth in there. But that sounds like such a convoluted thing to explain to people. It's Boba Fett, and he's like, no, my name's Cobb Vanth, and takes the helmet off, and you're like, what? So unless between Aftermath and The Mandalorian, Boba Fett took his armor back, but how did he lose it in the first place? Why'd he leave his armor? I assume he survived. Like, so many questions.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they have time or want to explain the whole Cobb Vanth thing. I think it's more likely we get a Jodo cast.
I would love that
type character.
Yes, and that the person you're talking about in The Mandalorian and like that dark tunnel, who looks kind of like Boba Fett. The colors look more like Jodo Cast to me. So,
and for people who don't know who that is,
he's fake Boba Fett.
Yeah, he's like pretending to be him.
Yeah, I love that character because he was created in Legends when Boba Fett died, and people were like, oh, we kind of still want Boba Fett in stories, so they made up JodoCast. And then someone else down the line was like, why don't we just make Boba Fett alive again, say he survived? And so now we have 2 Boba Fetts, and they made this cool comic where Boba Fett hunts down JodoCast and kills him, because JodoCast has basically been letting people think he's Boba Fett because his armor looks so similar. And I love that this poor character just like lives or dies depending on whether or not Boba Fett lives or dies. So yeah, I'd be all about JodoCast returning.
Rodrigo asks, which books and comics should people read before seeing The Rise of Skywalker? First of all, nothing's required. You can go in it, just having seen the movies, but...
So we have the Journey to the Rise of Skywalker line of stories. It's a mouthful. And of everything that I've seen and read, I think the only thing you would probably not want to miss is Resistance Reborn. That one felt the most necessary to me. Everything else felt pretty skippable. The Allegiance comic was...
the Poe comic, maybe.
The Poe comic does have a lot of stuff in it, but it gets pretty well summarized in Resistance Reborn.
Yeah.
And all that stuff came out almost 2 years ago at this point. So, yeah, I think Resistance Reborn. And then I've also heard someone say that Black Spire is a good one to read. I don't know why yet. I think we'll have to wait to see the movie to understand why. What? But it was a really good book.
I mean, I loved Black Spire, and it could be a good, precursor to us maybe seeing the Resistance base that is going to be on Batuu, if that's in Rise of Skywalker.
It might be.
But otherwise, yeah, I think Resistance Reborn is a great pre-Rise of Skywalker book to read. Just, it's short. It's got a lot of Leia stuff in it, which I really enjoyed to get like a good base of like where Leia's head is at going into the Rise of Skywalker. So, yeah.
Also a lot of Poe and a lot of him dealing with consequences of what he did in The Last Jedi. And I should point out, when I say someone said to read Black Spire, someone at Lucasfilm Publishing said that Resistance Reborn and Black Spire were really good things to read before Episode 9. I think you'll be fine going in to see the movie without having read any of them. But if you're into the Star Wars books and comics and you want something to read, then those are probably the 2 biggest recommendations.
Adrian wants to know if we'll do a Fallen Order Easter eggs video.
I really want to. My problem right now is that the schedule is full. Like, so much stuff is coming out that I only have so much time to talk about it. And
first world problems.
I know. It's like there's too much Star Wars and I can't handle it all. But leading up to The Rise of Skywalker, like, there are things that I want to talk about getting into it, and I can't shift those after the movie. It's all like prepping for the movie. And then I want to talk about books while they're still relevant, and Fallen Order while it's still relevant. And I'm probably going to do it, but it might not be until January or late December, unfortunately, because I have to probably play through it again. And
yeah, that's another thing I was going to say. There's a lot of Easter eggs and just a lot in general about this game. And I was telling someone else about this that was asking if we were going to do a lore play series on the game. And, yeah, we would like to, but it's going to be a while, because if we want to do it, we want to do it right. And there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. And if I did it now, it just wouldn't be great. And there's no time to do it anyway. So
there's no time.
There's no time, guys.
This guy's too busy.
So when things slow down a little bit, I will talk about Fallen Order even more, because like I said earlier, I love the game. There's a ton to talk about. I have this big list of topics, and I'm just like, well, I'll hold on to that for a little while, because I have The Mandalorian and The Rise of Skywalker and Resistance all to talk about. And the Rise of Kylo Ren comic is coming out soon. Vader Immortal came out 2 days ago while you're watching this, or tomorrow for me while I'm sitting here recording. It's a lot.
Shills WW asks if Rael Avarice could appear in the Kenobi series. So he is a character from Master and Apprentice, and also Dooku Jedi Lost.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if he survived Order 66, because I don't see him as the type of guy to be part of the army. I don't think he was a Jedi general.
Yeah, I don't think he was around, and I don't know, maybe he's one of those names on a list somewhere.
Yeah, that the Inquisitors have that are like, he's probably alive, but I mean, he wasn't really all that cool with the Jedi. Like, he was a bit of an outcast. He was still a member of the Order, but they were like, let's send him off on this mission where he can't cause trouble. So I don't see him leading clones. I don't see him being around to be shot. I think he probably did survive. But to be in the Kenobi series would be, I don't know. They'd have to just do it right where it doesn't confuse people. Because way more people are going to watch that series than have read Master and Apprentice.
Yeah. I think they're going to concentrate on putting people in the Kenobi series that people who have seen the movies and maybe Clone Wars, those types of characters in as a priority, and then like book characters, probably not, but it would be a cool cameo.
Yeah, I think it's possible, just unlikely. That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.